What John witnessed in heaven will leave you breathless. The vision of Revelation. John was not standing on a mountain or in a temple when it happened. He was a prisoner on the lonely island of Patmos, cut off from the world, surrounded by crashing waves and silence. And yet in that isolation, heaven opened. One moment, he was bound by earthly chains. The next, he was swept into a reality so stunning that no human eyes could fully comprehend it. A voice, strong and clear like a trumpet, called his name, not in judgment but in invitation. John stepped into a realm beyond time where light itself seemed alive. Colors no artist could mix, sounds no composer could arrange, and a presence so holy it made his soul tremble. This was the threshold of eternity. Before him, the glory of God blazed brighter than the sun, yet instead of consuming him, it drew him closer. Around that glory, movement and song never ceased. Everywhere there was worship, not forced, but overflowing like rivers of joy too deep to contain. John saw what no words can fully capture, the center of the universe, the place where every prayer ascends and where every tear will one day be wiped away. He saw heaven not as a dream, but as the truest reality. And now, through his words in the book of Revelation, we are invited to walk where he walked, to see what he saw, and to let the vision change the way we live on earth. Because if we could catch even a glimpse of what John witnessed in heaven, our hearts would never be the same. 1. The open door in heaven. John's vision does not begin with chaos, but with an invitation. He hears a voice, clear, commanding yet warm, saying, "Come up here, and I will show you what must take place after this." Revelation 4:1. This is not a casual call. It is the King of Glory summoning his servant to step beyond the limits of human sight. An open door in heaven is no small thing. Doors are meant to keep out or let in. This one is wide open, not for everyone at that moment, but for John. The voice does not merely offer him information, it offers him intimacy. To be shown the heart of God's plans is to be entrusted with holy mysteries. Think about it. John was in exile, left for dead by the world. Rome thought they had silenced him, yet heaven was not only aware of his location, heaven was ready to draw him closer than ever before. When the world isolates you, God positions you. That open door was not on Patmos, it was in the Spirit. It was the threshold into glory. Through that doorway, John was carried in the Spirit into a realm beyond time, where truth is not heard as rumor, but seen as reality. The invitation into God's presence is not just for him, it is a prophetic picture for every believer. We too are called to come up higher, to lift our eyes above the dust of this world and fix them on eternal things. When John stepped through that door, he crossed from a place of suffering into a place of splendor. His body might have been on Patmos, but his spirit was standing in the courts of God, and that is the great hope of the believer. No prison, no exile, no chain can block the doorway. Heaven opens for you. Even now the Spirit calls us higher, maybe not to see the whole of what John saw, but to draw near enough that the things of this earth grow dim. The open door is a reminder. God is not far. He invites, he calls, he draws you in, and when you step through, everything changes. 2. The throne and the one who sits upon it. The first thing John sees when he steps through the door is not streets of gold, not angels, not even the saints. It is the throne, and on the throne, the one who sits upon it. Revelation 4:2-3 says, "And the one who sat there had the appearance of jasper and ruby, and a rainbow that shone like an emerald encircled the throne." Words strain under the weight of what he is describing. It's not that God is made of gemstones, but the closest comparison to his glory is the pure brilliance of light refracted through perfect jewels. The throne is the center of heaven. Everything radiates from it. All activity, all worship, all beauty flows outward from the presence of the one who reigns. And notice, there is no empty throne. Heaven is not leaderless. God is not pacing nervously. He is seated, ruling, unshaken by the storms of earth. Around the throne is an emerald rainbow, a complete circle, not a half arc like we see here. On earth, rainbows appear after storms as a reminder of God's covenant. In heaven, the rainbow never fades. It is a perpetual sign that his promises are eternal and unbreakable. Lightning flashes and peals of thunder roll from the throne. This is not the mild image of a soft-spoken king. This is the power of the Almighty shaking the heavens. And yet, for those who belong to him, this power is not something to fear. It is something to trust. The same power that judges evil also protects the righteous. From our perspective, the world often looks unstable. Leaders rise and fall. Kingdoms come and go. But John's vision tells us there is a higher throne, and it is not up for election. That throne has always been, and it will always be. The one who sits upon it is the same yesterday, today, and forever. For John, beholding the throne before anything else was God's way of saying, before you see the future, see me. Before you witness judgments, know my sovereignty. Before you are shown the end of the age, understand that I rule over all. And for us, it is the same. Before we look at the chaos of our lives, the uncertainty of tomorrow, or the fears we carry, we must first look at the throne. We must see the one seated there, unshaken, glorious, surrounded by covenant light. And remember, our story rests in his hands. 3. The 24 Elders and the Sea of Glass. As John's eyes adjust to the blinding brilliance of the throne, his vision widens, and he sees them. 24 elders, clothed in white, seated on thrones that encircle the central throne of God. Their garments gleam with purity, and on their heads rest crowns of gold. These are not ordinary figures. They are honored ones, representatives of the redeemed, a picture of God's people in perfect glory. Many scholars see in them a symbol of the fullness of God's covenant family, the 12 tribes of Israel, and the 12 apostles of the Lamb, the Old and New Testaments united in worship. But in that moment, John isn't counting numbers. He's watching what they do. Whenever the living creatures declare the holiness of God, which is always, the elders rise from their thrones, remove their crowns, the very symbols of their victory and authority, and cast them at his feet. The act is not a loss, but an offering. They know that every triumph, every reward, every honor is from him and for him. Around them stretches something so strange and beautiful that John can barely describe it. A sea of glass, clear as crystal. Imagine an ocean without waves, without a ripple, utterly still. It mirrors the glory above it like a perfect reflection of heaven's peace. No storms rage here, no shadows fall. The sea before God's throne is calm, because in his presence chaos has no place. This image should shake us. On earth, we strive for crowns, recognition, achievement, and influence. But here, the holiest and most honored cast their crowns down, as if to say, "You alone are worthy." They don't clutch them, they don't polish them, they surrender them. In the end, what will matter is not how much we've been honored by others, but whether we've learned to lay it all before him. The elders show us that the highest position in heaven is not seated in pride, but bowed in worship. That sea of glass, that undisturbed expanse, whispers a promise to every weary heart. The storms will not follow you home. The struggles, the noise, the restless striving will end. In the presence of God, there is peace that no wind can disturb. 4. The living creatures and the eternal song. Closer to the throne than even the elders are the 4 living creatures. They are unlike anything John or we have ever seen. Each is full of eyes, front and back, seeing all things from every angle. One looks like a lion, one like an ox, one has a face like a man, and one is like a flying eagle. Their wings beat in reverence, their very forms declaring God's nature, strength, service, intelligence, and swiftness. They do not rest. Day and night, without pause, they speak the same truth. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was, and is to come. They never grow tired of this song. They never search for a new lyric or a fresher melody. The holiness of God is so infinite, so inexhaustible, that declaring it eternally never becomes stale. Each moment they behold him, they see something new, and it fuels another cry of praise. And here is the wonder. Every time the creatures give glory and honor, the elders respond. Worship in heaven is not isolated, it is contagious. The praise of one sparks the praise of all. Heaven resounds like a living symphony, each part in perfect harmony with the other. We live in a world that treats repetition as dull. We grow weary of the same prayers, the same songs. But in heaven, repetition is revelation. Saying holy again is not empty, it is deeper than the last time. Because with each gaze upon him, they see more of his beauty, more of his perfection. The living creatures are also a reminder that God is surrounded by watchfulness. Eyes are everywhere. Nothing escapes his notice. Not a tear, not a prayer, not a single act of love. In a world that often feels unseen, John's vision assures us, heaven sees. And that eternal song, it isn't just theirs, it's ours too. One day our voices will join theirs, not because we must, but because we will be so overcome by his glory that words will pour out like rivers. Worship will no longer be a discipline, it will be our delight. 5. The Lamb who was slain. Up to this point, John had seen the majesty of the throne, the beauty of worship, and the order of heaven. But then the scene shifts. He notices in the right hand of the one seated on the throne a scroll sealed with 7 seals. A mighty angel proclaims, "Who is worthy to break the seals and open the scroll?" And silence falls over heaven. No one in heaven or on earth or under the earth is found worthy. John begins to weep, not quietly but deeply. His tears are not for himself, but for the destiny of the world. The scroll represents God's plan for redemption and judgment, and if no one can open it, the story cannot be completed. But then one of the elders turns to John with a voice of assurance. "Do not weep. See, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, has triumphed." John turns, expecting to see a lion, a fierce, unstoppable conqueror. But what he sees instead changes everything. A lamb, looking as if it had been slain. The wounds are still visible, yet the lamb stands alive, victorious. This is the paradox of heaven's power, the might of God revealed through sacrifice. The lamb is not a symbol of weakness, but of the strength that conquers sin and death through love. He bears the marks of the cross not as shame, but as his glory. The moment he appears, heaven erupts. The 4 living creatures and the 24 elders fall down before him. They hold golden bowls full of incense, the prayers of the saints, and harps that release songs of praise. The song they sing is new, never sung before. You are worthy to take the scroll and to open its seals, because you were slain, and with your blood you purchased for God persons from every tribe and language and people and nation. Every voice in heaven joins in, angels beyond number, the redeemed from all ages, all declaring, "Worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive power and wealth and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and praise." John's tears are gone. The scroll is in the right hands, and the universe is reminded that the center of heaven is not just a throne, it is the Lamb who sits at its heart. 6. The multitude from every nation. John's vision expands again. He sees not just the throne and the elders, not just the Lamb and the angels, but a vast crowd, too many to count. A sea of faces, all clothed in white robes, all holding palm branches, all standing before the throne and before the Lamb. They are from every nation, tribe, people, and language. The barriers that divide us on earth are gone here. No one is ranked higher. No one is left out because of where they came from or the language they spoke. Every one of them is there for the same reason. They belong to the Lamb. With one voice they cry out, "Salvation belongs to our God who sits on the throne and to the Lamb." The scene is overwhelming, not just in size but in beauty. Every robe is white, washed clean in the blood of the Lamb. Every hand holds a palm branch, a symbol of victory. Every heart is free from sorrow, shame, or fear. One of the elders explains to John who they are. "These are they who have come out of the great tribulation. They have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. They are not spectators in heaven. They serve God day and night in his temple, and the one who sits on the throne spreads his presence over them like a shelter." John hears promises spoken over them. Never again will they hunger, never again will they thirst. The sun will not beat down on them, nor any scorching heat. For the Lamb at the center of the throne will be their shepherd. He will lead them to springs of living water, and God himself will wipe away every tear from their eyes. This is not small comfort. It is the end of all grief. The multitude stands as living proof that the promises of God are for all people, everywhere, and that his redemption is complete. 7. The new heaven and the new earth. The visions John has already seen are breathtaking, but they are not the end. After the judgments, after the final defeat of evil, after the old order has passed away, John is shown the ultimate promise of God. "I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea." Revelation. This is not a repair job on the old world. It is total renewal. The brokenness of creation, the corruption of sin, the decay of time, all of it is gone. In its place, God brings forth something unspoiled, untouchable, eternal. John sees the holy city, the New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride beautifully dressed for her husband. This is not just a place. It is a living, radiant symbol of God's people made perfect. The brilliance of the city is beyond imagination. Walls of jasper, streets of pure gold, gates made of single pearls, foundations adorned with precious stones of every color. But the beauty of heaven is not its architecture. It is God himself dwelling with his people. John hears a voice from the throne saying, "Look, God's dwelling place is now among the people, and he will dwell with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away." No more hospitals, no more graves, no more goodbyes. The scars of life will be healed, not just in body, but in soul. The one seated on the throne declares, "I am making everything new," and he affirms his authority. "It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end." This is the destination of the redeemed, not floating in clouds, but living in a world remade in perfect holiness and joy. The new heaven and new earth are not distant dreams. They are God's certain promise, and one day, as surely as John saw it, we will walk its streets, see his face, and live in the light of his glory forever. Conclusion. Living in the light of what John saw. John's vision was not given to him so we could admire it from a safe distance. It was given so we could live now in light of then. If you truly believe, there is a throne in heaven that never shakes, a Lamb who reigns in love, a multitude gathered from every nation, and a new earth where sorrow is no more, then it changes how you walk through today. It means we endure trials with hope because the door to heaven is open. It means we worship freely because the throne is occupied. It means we surrender our crowns because all glory belongs to him. It means we follow the Lamb because he alone is worthy. It means we see others not as strangers, but as potential fellow citizens of the city to come. John's eyes saw what our eyes will one day see, and until that day we keep our hearts pointed toward the throne, our lives anchored in the Lamb, and our voices ready to join the eternal song. The vision of heaven is not a fairy tale, it is the truest reality. And when the trumpet sounds and the door is opened for us, may we be ready, not as spectators but as worshippers, stepping into the glory John saw and into the presence of the one we have loved all along.